What is up, guys? This is Megadus coming back to you with episode 8 of my OOTP Kansas City Royals franchise, and today we are at the 2019 offseason. So this is a fast-paced series. This is moving along quickly. However, I think once we actually start doing well, I think we will be improved. It will go slower as we will have playoffs, we will have September episodes, but I am trying to fast-pace this through the bad years, and it has definitely been a couple of bad years. So I've already read all the messages, but I'll just go through them again. Nathan Eovaldi's vesting option did not go through, so he will not get paid $5 million this year, and he will go into free agency because I will not re-sign him. Addison Reed avoided his last contract year, so he had 2 good years for us, or semi-decent years, not so much this last year, but he avoided it anyway. He's going to test free agency unless I can sign him back. Jed Jerko, he has a team option for $13 million, even though he had a good year last year. We are still going to void that. And Alex Gordon, he was god-awful last year, finished with negative .8 WAR. Still was very good in his prime, with his 2014 season being 4.1 WAR, 2012 being 4 WAR, but he just fell off at the end. And his tenure in Kansas City will be coming to an end as soon as we void this extension, our team option. So we void that as well. And Chae Sung-seo, he actually finished the year really strongly with a 792 OPS, and I'm probably going to play him at DH this year to where his bat, as you can see, based on his bat, he should have been worth about 3 WAR. So he will definitely be getting accepted for only 4.8. We'll see how he does this year and based off his arbitration within the next couple years. So anyway, moving on, David Glass, let's see, disappointing performance, yes. You failed that. You can't win without homegrown talent. I'm trying. And I gave you a goal of 2017 and making playoffs. Yep, has not happened. I get that. Angry in your performance of accomplishing the goals, and my overall mood is worried. So there's that. So he's lowered his expectations. We are supposed to don't suck completely, upgrade at center field, increase attendance once again, and bring more drafted players, as well as reach the playoffs, which I guess we were supposed to reach this year. That obviously didn't happen. Moving on, we got our budget lowered again, if I do believe. Now I want to go to accounting. So yeah, we got our budget lowered to $8 million. It has continued to drop, and I think we only have, 77 million for... Oh, wait, no. 75 million for team payroll, so that should be interesting. Ned Yost retired. We were not going to plan on bringing him back. We let him finish out his contract, though. And both our bench coach and hitting coach are leaving as well, so... Moving on, I do want to mention that the Dodgers finally won a World Series. If we go to the league history over here, history index, they made it the last 3 years, from 2017 through 2019, and finally beat the Boston Red Sox. I don't even know how many games it was. 4. They swept them. So congratulations to the Dodgers and their overpowered and extreme budget. That's what you can do when you have a $100 million. So anyway, moving on, we are going to go ahead and jump into salary arbitration here. Surprisingly, we have no arbitration eligible players. Either everyone's young or everyone's eligible to be a free agent. So, or I guess locked up onto an extension. Anyway, Carter Capps is definitely not coming back. Jake Diekman, I would be interested in bringing him back, but he's probably going to want a little bit too much. Yeah, $5.5 million. Not really for us. We'll let him test free agency and potentially come back. Nathan Eovaldi has been bad, or was bad, so we are not going to bring him back. Alex Gordon, no. Jed Jerko, no. And let's see how much Addison Reed wants as well. And he is angry, so he doesn't want to come back. I would love to bring Whit Merrifield back as depth. We offer a minor league extension. And I don't really see anybody else. So from there, I think we're going to go ahead and jump into free agency. I'll catch you up on the awards, and we'll see who we are going to offer a contract for next year. So before we get into the awards, I haven't even said today, I forgot to mention how we did on the year. We went 71-91, so we kind of fell off at the end of the year. However, we did get hot, sort of. We stayed average, I should say, basically say. But first, let's get into the pitching. I have no idea what happened to that starter, but whatever. If we go by WAR, it's probably easiest. Jake Junis, high ERA because our defense was god-awful at 15th. But again, he had a decent year. I expect him to be a 5th starter, basically. Chun, whatever you want to pronounce it, he had a really good year. 130 Ks and 92 innings pitched. Yeah, he's going to be a stud. He's probably our future closer after Reed leaves. As Reed has already expressed his dismay at returning. Sparkman, I would expect him to be a bullpen piece. I did end up moving him into the bullpen, and he did pretty decent there, I want to say, if we go to pitching splits. Yeah, he was way better in the bullpen. So we'll probably bring him back to be put in the bullpen. Jake Diekman had a good year. JT Chargoy, after he came back from injury, had a good year. Yasiel Sierra had a decent year. Blewett had a rough year, as well as Eovaldi. And Skoglund was straight booty hole. So, moving on to the batters, let's see. If we go by WAR, Andres Miller was our best hitter. Again, this guy came out of nowhere, was pretty awful last year in his short cup of coffee, and was pretty good this year. So, hopefully he can keep that up for on the minimum, contract-wise. Reese McGuire was fantastic. He kind of got cold at the end of the year, but it was still really good. I would love to get his OPS up, but I don't think that's going to happen with that power. So, he's a good defensive catcher, though. Ryan O'Hearn was absolutely fantastic at the end of the year. 514 slugging, 39 home runs. He's definitely our DH of the future as of now. Hopefully he can improve on that. Rougned Odor had a good offseason or good second half with us after we traded for him. 0.9 WAR, 821 OPS. So if he can keep those numbers, that would definitely be a good trade for us. But his ratings are declining. But again, we don't have to pay all of this, and we have 2 prospects in return. Although now, of course, Theo hates this guy, so. Whatever. I still think that's a good trade. Cole Hamels is $13 million next year, and I'm not in love with him. Besides that, if we go to here, Samir Dunez was raking at the end of the year. Jomar Reyes was struggling, but it was his rookie year, 21 home runs. I think we have a building block in him. Sir was good despite his bad defense. And we called up Seth Beer. He was doing well in Double-A. So we called him up. And he was struggling, but that's to be expected with a first year guy. If you just remember Mike Trout in 2009 was awful, and then came back in 2010 and was Mike Trout. So hopefully Seth Beer can do that. But yeah, that was the offense and the pitching. We weren't good, but I'm hopeful after some moves in free agency we can do better. Oh, and I also want to mention that we are going to fire our trainer here, as we had 6 guys go out with multiple month injuries, and some of those are very, very important to our future, Foster Griffin and Stalmont. So very concerning, very, very concerning. We will be firing him, even though his ratings are not that bad. If we go to trainer, it's good on prevent arm injuries, but legendary on anything else. But we are going to fire him. Just because that is really unacceptable. So anyway, now on to awards and free agent filings. So here we are at free agency, and before I get into free agency and the awards, I do want to point out that I have tried to fill out all of my, as soon as we fire him, we have made an offer for the manager, bench coach, hitting coach, and team trainer. If we go to pending offers, we're trying to hire Bob Melvin, who was the manager of the Oakland A's from 2011 to 2019. As manager, Ron Washington, the former manager of the Texas Rangers, and recently the bench coach to the Nationals, as the bench coach, and Bessinger as the hitting coach, just a random default guy, and this Dave Pruemer, who was the trainer for the Twins the last 3 years, as he is, I think, legendary in arms, outstanding in arms, so that should help with the injuries. So anyway, let's get into the awards. As you can probably expect, the Royals won nothing. I had to waive and DFA a couple of guys, so some of them got claimed. Anyway, here are the AL Great Gloves, or Gold Gloves, however you want to say it. The NL Great Gloves, just in case anyone wants to see. Reliever of the Year goes to Aroldis Chapman, Edwin Diaz, and Mike Moore following up. Chicago Cubs Craig Kimbrell, he is out for 12 months. I guess he just got injured. That sucks for him. And Jared Miller, whoever that guy is, he got injured too. And Ujurius, or Familia, who plays for the Dodgers now, came in third. So, Platinum Stick, or I need to change the names on this. Silver Slugger, Mike Trout won yet again. Benintendi, Gallo hit 51 bombs. NL Platinum Stick, Martin Perez, another former Ranger. I saw Cody Bellinger, Calhoun, Chris Bryant, Bryce, Jonas. Moving on, let's see. The Rookie of the Year. NL is Ison Diaz, Nick Williams, and Andres Jimenez. And the AL is Matt Dean, Bradley Zimmer, and Brandon Lowe. So those look like future All-Stars. AL, Joe Girardi of the Yankees. NL is Dave Roberts of the Dodgers. Now, the Cy Young, this kind of surprised me. Aroldis Chapman had a good year last year. I didn't think good enough to win the Cy Young, but he did. Moving on, Blake Snell and Marcus Stroman coming in second and third. And Jameson Taillon of the Pittsburgh Pirates won it over, I think, Clayton Kershaw, who yet again won the league in war, or in pitching war, I should say. He is turning out to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Moving on, and as well as over Carlos Martinez. And then the most valuable player, Nomar Mazara, won it in the AL, followed by Mike Trout and Joey Gallo. And in the NL, Chris Bryant won it over Bryce Harper and Jameson Taillon. So here we are in free agency. Generally, it looks like a weak free agent class, and definitely pitching top heavy, as the only hitters I see on this screen are Alfredo Despien, who's 33 and coming over from a foreign league, as well as Russell Martin, who's 36 and was not exactly lighting it up for the Blue Jays last year. So definitely a little bit top heavy. The best pitcher is this relief pitcher, international free agent. This guy looks good. Now, I don't want to be cheesing, as these guys come super cheap, right? So generally, I'm going to offer this guy, because I'm going to make him an offer. He's too good not to, and we need to improve our pitching. So we're going to make an offer of like $5 million over, there we go, and then how about that 6, that's 7, and then this is like 9. So I'd make that offer. And that's a 4-year, $27 million offer. So that would be fair, I would think. So he's young, he's cheap, and it looks like some guys have already signed. I do want to check out the posted players as well. Looks like the only decent one is this 28-year-old relief pitcher. So we will not be going after any of those guys. Moving on, there's one guy I want, and I hope I can afford him. We have $37 million still, even after that contract. And I want to go by Theo here. But again, this is a weak free agent class, so all the guys are going to be going for super expensive, and some of these guys, at some of these positions I need filled maybe better if I trade for him. So it's where is he? It's this guy, Luis Rebollar. He's a stud. There's no way around that one. He's a stud. 28 years old, coming from Cuba. He's durable. He's wanting $18 million a year though. And that would be a lot with my $75 million player payroll. So I'm going to make him an offer. And let's see. How about we do 13 there, 15 there, 17 there. And I'm going to give him the offer he wants. And then after that, it can be 2 years. And that buys out all 6 years of his arbitration if he doesn't opt out. We're going to make that offer. And the best news about this is, as he's coming from Cuba, it doesn't cost us a draft pick, where normally a player of this caliber would. So anyway, moving on. So we've made 2 offers, both the pitchers. We need to fill up some hitting. We need some outfield help. If we go to our lineups here, we have some pitching injuries. Seth Beer will be our starting right fielder next year. Sir will be our starting DH once we take that off of him. Shortstop might be an issue. Mondesi's ratings are continuing to decrease, and I don't see anything coming from him. Odor will be our starting second baseman. However, we will need to improve eventually. Reese McGuire and Samir Dunyas have catcher and first base, respectively. So, really, outfield or center field. We need a center fielder as well as a shortstop. So those are the positions we're looking for. But again, it's not exactly hanging fruit in this free agent class. If we go to center field, just a bunch of old aging white guys, as well as Carlos Gonzalez, CJ McElroy. I'm not a big fan of him. So yeah, we may be searching the trade market, see if we can get anything. We do have some decent prospects. We do want to check shortstop as well. So yeah, there's not a lot here. So I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to cut out, try to make some moves, see what he can do with this $24 million in cap space, and come back in when I have something. So the Royals have made the offers we want to make, and it's a couple of interesting offers. I did search the trade market. I could not find anything I was interested in, and none of these rebuilding teams were too interested in completely selling off their pieces. So the problem I've run into, and it's more of a problem in this year's OOTP than last, is if you're on a losing team, players don't want to come to you, which is it's fair, right? For old players, they don't want to go to a rebuilding team, and that's especially true with starters who, after searching for a couple minutes, I found some starters that are interested. Justin Verlander was my first choice. He had a really good year last year, but of course he is not interested in joining. So my theory is, after that, I basically threw a sticky on the wall. Like, I'm throwing offers on the wall and seeing which one sticks. So that's what I'm trying to say, at least. I don't know how well that came across. Anyway, so our original offers we signed was this guy for 6 years, $102 million, or Soko for $427. We also gave an offer to Zach Davies. He's 26. He has not done well. He had an average year in 2018. In Toronto, he was pretty bad this year. He was only wanting 1 year, so I made that offer. 1 year, $7.5 million. Now, it's not a great deal, or not a great salary, but it is only 1 year. So if it works out, it works out. If it doesn't, it doesn't. So moving on, we also signed Dylan Bundy to a cheap contract. He's not been good, but we need starters, or bodies, I should say, and he is cheap. So $1.1 million for 1 year. And Addison Reed, there were relievers available, and he was the cheapest. And even though he had an awful ERA, he had a good WAR with us. So he offered for 1 year, $1.5 million, and I took him on that offer. So anyway, yeah, we're really focusing on pitching, because again, this is a very weak hitting free agency class. Alfredo Spain wants $15-16 million over 6 years, which he's not going to get from me. I was thinking about Domingo Santana. He's not good at defense though, and I'm not in love with his ratings. And he had a very, very, very awful year last year. He strikes out a crap ton, so I don't think that's going to work out. Right now, this is our pitching rotation. We got about 8 injuries on the pitching staff, and our ace is Jake Junis. So really, we're just waiting for our draft pick from last year. I don't remember what his name was. If we go to history, draft history, Neverson, and he is in A+, or high A right now. And he's done well, so I am hopeful that he will come up sooner rather than later and kill it for us. So he was the first overall draft pick this year, so hopefully that can continue. Hopefully he will reach it maybe September of 2020 or 2021. Anyway, so now we will sum up to either the Rule 5 draft pick or whenever those guys decide to get back to me. So I'll see you guys then.